Hello, happy January. Today we're talking about instincts. I want to help you trust that initial spark, that initial instinct before that pesky angel and devil show up on your shoulder and try to talk you out of everything. We all have moments where a brilliant idea hits us. It's like a bolt of lightning, and we feel like this is it. This is the idea. I'm going to roll with this. I've won the lottery. This is the golden ticket that's going to help me move toward my goals. And then almost immediately we start to overthink it. Was that a good idea? Or have I had way too much coffee this morning? Which is never the case. But this episode is about trusting that initial instinct, that initial spark, and learning to quiet the angel and devil, or your second instinct and third instinct, who love to chime in with their 2 cents and make you feel like you want to give up. Here's the thing. When I started Bruud, when I was considering purchasing my business, my initial instinct was, this is amazing. I can't wait to have this space. I've always wanted a space where people could come and chill and feel relaxed. I wanted to create this welcoming, inviting environment. And then the angel, or that second instinct, was like, how are you going to pay for this? Are you going to hire employees? Are you going to work yourself to death? What about licensing, permits? What do you need to know? What do you not know? Do you even know how to make a latte? And then the third instinct, or that devil on your shoulder, as I like to visualize it as, is the one who's like, you can't do this. You're crazy. This is a stupid idea. You need to give up and just stay in your lane. And you know what? That's terrifying to think about. That if I had listened to that third instinct, if I had gone from spark to questioning, to doubt, to giving up, I would not be here today. I would not be making this video for you. I would not be 2 years plus into my coffee shop. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. And that is a scary, scary thought. So I want to break down these three instincts, how to identify them, and how to lean into that initial gut feeling that's going to create a spark inside of you and let you do more of what feels good and feels more authentic to you. I want you to lean in to that initial excitement. And even though the other voices might have some good advice, I don't want you to let it overshadow that initial spark that you have for your creative business or your creative venture that's going to get you closer to your goals, get you closer to your dreams. So think of the first instinct as your true self. This is your gut talking, that raw, unfiltered intuition. It's like when you were a kid at a party and you were dancing around everywhere and you didn't care what anyone thought, you were so yourself. You were like, let's go eat some food, let's drink some pop, let's do some fun things. Your first instinct is free. It's tuned in to what genuinely matters to you. Think of it as your truest self, the self that hasn't been jaded by fear or self-doubt or overthinking or the fear of failure. This is the spark that makes you think, this is going to be amazing. This is going to be so great. This is me. I can't wait to put this out there. I will talk a little bit more about emotional intelligence in a minute, but emotional intelligence really helps with this initial gut feeling and this initial instinct. When we have higher EQ or emotional intelligence, we're able to identify that initial gut feeling and lean into it rather than run away from it. It's not magic, it's science. Okay, so now that we know what our first gut instinct is, let's move on to the second one. I like to visualize my second and third gut instincts as the angel and devil on my shoulder. So I have me in the center of it all, who has that initial spark, that initial gut instinct that I want to roll with and I'm really excited about. And then I have these two voices that sit right here, and one is a little bit more logical than the other, but then the third one we'll talk about in a second. The second one that I visualize as like the angel on your shoulder is the one that asks you questions. It's like your mom telling you to put on a sweater because it's cold outside. So it's necessary, but it can sometimes be a little too much. This instinct wants to help you refine your idea by asking purposeful questions like, how are you going to do this? Have you done your research? Have you planned? Is this doable? It really wants to make sure that you're thinking things through. Picture like a well-meaning mentor who just wants to save you from jumping in unprepared. They're not wrong, but they're not always right either. When I was starting Bruud, it's like, now you got to think about spreadsheets, costs, inventory, supplier contracts. Necessary? Absolutely. But it can also be a buzzkill if I start to overthink things and lose the excitement for the project that I started with. All right. And then the third instinct, I like to visualize like the devil on my shoulder. It's that instinct that I'm like, thank you, but no thank you. I've got this. This is the instinct that is full of fear and doubts and often makes you feel like you're going to fail before you even get started. So you end up giving up on really cool ideas that you might have been super jazzed about that now you're thinking, okay, but what if they don't like it? This is that instinct full of other people's opinions that should not take you away from what you really want to do. It's whispering things in your ear like, you're not good enough to do this. What if you fail? What if you're left struggling and you have no money and everybody quits and nobody comes in the door? That's what this one does. And this is the one that we need to identify and learn how to tune out the most. You can also think of it as a voice that's protecting you from risk. And that's great, but rarely does anyone make it far in business without taking risk. It's like planning a road trip and then canceling it because there's a 10% chance of rain. Silly, right? 10%? Okay, I can take that. So if you can visualize your different instincts, maybe even give them a name. Like, this is my authentic me. This is my voice or instinct of logic. And then this is like Downey Downerson, who's just going to make me want to give up before I get started. It can give it a little bit of humor as well, so you don't focus too much on the fear of things. And it helps you compartmentalize so you can say, okay, I need to consider the risks. I need to consider my options. I need to take this seriously, but I want to lean into that initial spark because I know that this is going to be great. I know that this can be great if I give it a chance. I really believe that trusting that gut instinct and that initial spark comes from understanding yourself and being able to tune into raw, unfiltered instinct. We only really know what that is if we've done the internal work to figure out who we are and our relationship to the world around us. So doing that emotional intelligence EQ work is going to help you identify these instincts better. EQ is like the ultimate superpower for decision making. It helps you understand and recognize your emotions so that you can tune out the noise around you. High EQ means recognizing when your spark is genuine versus when fear is hijacking your thoughts, using the angel's feedback constructively without letting that overthinking bog you down, and calling out the devil on your shoulder for being a drama queen and trying to make you give up. Psychologist Daniel Goleman, who popularized EQ, emphasizes that emotionally intelligent people trust their instincts because they've learned to separate intuition from fear. Here are some steps to help you reconnect with and trust your instincts. Sit with your idea and ask yourself, what excites me about this? Why am I so excited about this? And then I want you to write down those thoughts and don't edit, don't pause, don't judge. Just write down your initial feelings about this exciting new goal or project or journey that you want to embark on. This spark is usually tied to something that you're super passionate about and that you deeply value. It's the thing that makes you feel alive. And then the second instinct that comes into play is something that you want to use constructively. So I call this one the angel on my shoulder. This one is here to help you refine the details without losing momentum. This is where you ask yourself practical questions like, what's the first step, or what are the resources that I need? And then time block. Give yourself a certain amount of time to work on research and planning so that it doesn't overwhelm you and inevitably shut you down. You don't want to overthink that initial spark too much, right? You want to keep moving. If you overthink it and you concentrate too much on the not so fun details, it might just make you give up entirely, and the world needs your creative vision. Your creative vision matters. If you haven't heard that episode, please go back and tune in, but I want you to be excited about what you have to bring to the table because nobody else does it like you. And then that third instinct, or the one that I like to visualize as the devil on my shoulder, is the one who's going to ask you, what if you fail? And I need you to be strong enough with that EQ to respond, okay, but what if I don't? Because it's not so much the failing, it's the not trying that you're going to regret, right? Failing is a part of the process. I fail all the time, but I don't care so much about the failing. It's that if I don't try, how will I know if it works or not? So instead of imagining the worst case scenario, imagine the best outcomes possible. That mindset, that visualization is going to help you silence this devil on your shoulder every time that self-doubt or that fear of failure, or that overwhelming feeling of imposter syndrome creeps in. This is Doubty McDoughterson. We're not listening to them today. We are going to shut that instinct and that voice right down. To strengthen emotional intelligence, think about moments in the past where you listened to your instincts, where you trusted that initial gut feeling. What did that feel like, and what were the outcomes? I guarantee when you leaned into it, things worked out okay. It's when you doubted yourself that things started to get messy. So we want to cancel that noise and lean into the authentic initial feeling that we have about an idea, and that spark that motivates us and inspires us and drives us forward. Journaling and meditating can help you silence the noise and fine-tune your voice so that you know when it's coming from a place of authenticity or when it's coming from a place of doubt and insecurity. And honestly, building your emotional intelligence is a lifelong thing, so practice makes perfect. Start with smaller decisions, and once you start checking those off and leaning into that intuition, you're going to build confidence to be able to do that the next time around. So remember that your first instinct is there to connect you with your true self. The angel is there to help you refine your idea, and then the devil is there to keep you stuck and not moving forward with that initial spark. Don't let fear win. Your gut isn't just a random feeling. It's your intuition trying to guide you towards something meaningful. Trust it, act on it, and let it guide you to where you're meant to be. My challenge for you this week is to think of an idea that you've been second guessing. Go back to that initial instinct and take one small step forward to making it happen. And then I'd love for you to post about your experience by either sharing a comment below or tagging me on Instagram. You can tag me at Tawny Unlimited so I can cheer you on as you tap into that raw, unfiltered gut feeling. And don't forget to subscribe for more tips and tricks on how to trust your instincts and move toward a business that feels really, really good. Until next time, stay connected and keep trusting your instincts and that gut feeling that is trying to guide you toward a life, a business, a creative venture that you deserve.